Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing really well. My name is Eva and I want to thank you for joining me here in this video. This is the first in a new kind of series that I kind of had the inspiration for yesterday, which is making the unconscious conscious. I think that that's so much of what light language is as it comes through me, and what light codes are kind of for is sort of clearing the way of our awareness, like the blocks that are in our awareness of these sort of deeper structures of limiting belief, of sort of disbelief in self and disconnection from our unity with all life and our unity with the divine. So before we get started, I just want to, not really a disclaimer, but just to remind everyone, or if you're new to this kind of work, that making the unconscious conscious does just that. And it will probably be kind of uncomfortable. I don't know in terms of spirit if it has to be that way, but certainly in our human bodies, we do experience it that way. It is uncomfortable to reckon with the negative beliefs that we have about ourselves, or the hateful beliefs, or the fearful beliefs. So it might not come through in this 15 minutes that we spend together, but it might be dislodged and come through in your dream space, or if you're triggered by an event in your life, or if you're sitting in meditation, or if you're doing something and you feel like it's completely unrelated to the work that we are doing here together, but it is coming through and you feel upset, or you feel the need to sort of purge, or you don't understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. It's really important that we understand in this work, if we're doing really unified spiritual work with the intention to really know ourselves, that when you ask, you are answered. And so if you're asking to know yourself, you have to enlighten all of the things that you believe about yourself that are false, and generally that can be kind of overwhelming. It can be deeply uncomfortable. So make sure this is very powerful work. This work is real. This work is experiential, and it will change your life. So if you are new to this, I would suggest a practice of like transcendental meditation, of direct experience with the divine without a goal, except to connect to yourself as you are in the divine, and allow that to really strengthen you so that you have an embodiment of spirit to really look clearly at this work without getting kind of swept away by it, or feeling deeply overwhelmed by transmuting or alchemizing fear. Is there anything else I want to say about this? I think that's it for now. Just as a note, if you are returning and you find this work helpful, I would love to see you as a member of the channel. I do this work full time and it really helps me out. If you would like to make a donation, I have linked that Venmo below. There's many ways to work together. One-on-one sessions are deeply, deeply, deeply revelatory, deeply powerful. Written guidance, incredibly powerful light code work. A lot of revelation takes place by the way of sort of moving in the unconscious and the subconscious and the subtle realms, and personal trance work as well, which is deep, deep sound healing combined with this sort of vocal code light language work. So if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out. My email is below, and you can also contact me on my website, or you can leave a comment if you want it to be public. So we'll get started. This first transmission that we are sharing together is unprocessed grief, very unconscious, deeply held grief. So you might feel this in the heart space. You might feel this in the womb space as well, opening up in the base of the spine. Just taking some nice deep breaths, connecting with your center, connecting with yourself in divinity, knowing yourself whole. There is one life, and that is the life that we share with God. We proclaim ourselves as this light. We accept ourselves as this light. As we proclaim ourselves as this light, it is in my experience that all these parts of self that do not believe that you are one in this life will come up to meet you. It might appear in many different ways in your physical life, but these are parts of self that are resistant to accepting that we are one with God. The ego believes that this is the end of its existence. It is the disillusion of the ego, but the ego is based in fear. We need to really step into the embodiment of the belief that there is a different way to live if we are to live a different way. And that is the goal of this work, to live without fear. So really calling in all of our guidance system, calling in all of the guides of the aligned unity field, all of these enlightened beings that know themselves as they are. We offer this healing to all living beings for their consciousness freedom and their happiness and for our own. Just taking a moment, even when you do this work, if you need to pause the video and just take some deep breaths until you can really connect with yourself and feel that connection in your center. Really, really using this as time and space to honor yourself, to know yourself, and to pass through. It is the passing through of limiting, fearful, negative beliefs, holding that center of the light, holding the center of truth, walking in the light of the truth, through the center of disbelief, through the center of fear. That is alchemizing it. We're not negating. It's not negation to say that these are untrue beliefs. If you believe that the truth is one, everything that's in opposition to one, anything that is forcefully holding on to the ideas of separation, would not be of the truth. So it's not negation to say that they aren't real. That is bringing the light of the truth to it. It is taking responsibility for having untrue beliefs. And again, shining the light directly on them, not being afraid to look, knowing that we don't look alone. But it would certainly not serve to say, the darkness is real, the fear is real. If it were real, and if it truly existed outside of yourself, you would never be able to be free of it. That's not the case. We are revealing how we are not in opposition to the world around us. We are not victims of the world that we see. We are one in the field. We bring the energy of forgiveness, which I do believe is a necessary alchemizing. It is a technology of faith that transforms our relationship to all life. It illuminates the truth, essence of all things at the center of all things. It simply allows us to see the unreal as unreal. While we hold these negative attachments, right, these relationships that are in opposition, that are in victimization, that are in accusation, that are refusing to see the light of the truth in all things, at the highest level of being, at the most core truth of being. We are still holding ourselves in separation from the whole because we're refusing to see the oneness of all things. If we believe that the reality is the love of God, is creation, is the unified field, all that which is taking place in the dream of fear is but a dream. While you refuse to forgive, you refuse to acknowledge the dream as false. You're proclaiming the reality of the dream, and you'll continue to know yourself in those karmic cycles. Not know yourself. You'll continue to be disillusioned. You'll continue to refuse to know yourself because all life includes your life. All life is one with your life. All life is within the mind of God, is within the mind of the divine intelligence. This is not something that you need to snap your fingers and do immediately. When we have deep trauma in our lives, when we have experienced abuse, when we have experienced assault, myself included, it does take a lot of work to see in this way, but we must see ourselves outside of our personality consciousness, outside of our ego. If you're seeing yourself and you're insistent upon seeing yourself only in the limitation of your personality self, well, damn right, it would be pretty hard to forgive that. If you're only seeing yourself in the context of your body, it would be nearly impossible to forgive those things. But if you are intending to know yourself whole, you are not your body. The body is an emanation of the ego, is a projection of the ego, is a self that is separate. And so all of this work is to sort of recode what we believe our bodies are for, and so that we can see them as vessels of communication, vessels of forgiveness. Himindara horroquin sim norrocuria payasun jakinin. Hindraya torroquayasim. Hindriti kayasut. And if you're very resistant to that, that's okay. It's okay if the work's not for you. It's okay if the work is not for you right now. It's okay if it takes a while to get there. It's okay if you kind of falter on the path or resist the path. I think that's very natural. This spirit-mindedness, spirit perception, enlightened perception, the vision of Christ, is the opposite of the vision of the world. And so it makes sense that it would take time, as the Holy Spirit sees it, that's the only use for time, to gently move through and learn and remember. But while we withhold forgiveness, no matter what people have done, I know this is, I've been told off many times by therapists and people who encounter the work who think this is dangerous. But if you withhold that, you won't see yourself whole. And you won't free the world of the imprisonment of fear, because you're insisting upon seeing a fearful relationship. The past is gone from us. You continue to hurt yourself while you proclaim the past as happening now. Kini andraya sunso korro koyi shindi tikayas nadri kina ruhu tosam sakinat. Kini ndriti sisi atorro koyesam sekuyusha koro korro koyiti sinsikit. In the world of the dream, are there those individuated consciousness, as there is here, participating with evil? Yes. In this world of the dream, that is indeed happening, or else the world wouldn't be the way that it is. The world indeed wouldn't be. But it does not free the world. It doesn't change the world in our sight of it by what we offer it, by continuing to imprison the world, by proclaiming that those individuals that are choosing to allow the current of evil to run through them, that they are choosing to negate others' will, others' freedom, others' lives, others' safety, others' stability. It does not free that structure to continuously proclaim that is happening and they are evil and I will not forgive them. They deserve to be condemned. If you're looking at it from a unity perspective, which is what this channel is, you condemn yourself. You can't free yourself and not free all others through your sight of them. Hinindri kayas dorkui sansa kinindriti sikia shikiara orrukuin somnoroiti kiriatus. Hinindri teato corrutus. Anahishira diasot. And if you don't like that, if you don't agree with that, just turn this off. That's okay. You don't have to leave me like a nasty comment. I'm going to delete it. I don't care. It doesn't affect the way that I see. If you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. But if you're just going to like say something negative and be like, that's crap, or you're dangerous, or that's not the way it is, what a fool you are. Like, I haven't heard that before. I'm not doing this for your approval. I'm doing this because it has worked for me, and I would offer what I believe to be the truth to others so that they may be free and have peace, so that I may know myself. Kiraya torko yisam sa kinindriti sinsi kiri taya torko yisam natrayat. Kini andraya sunsoto yasonso kinindriti otorkuit. Shinsi kiti titara korum natrayas nosharaisin. Sinsi kiritaya torkui saptokui kinindriti sinsa kaya shnatra. Kinindritis, you are very free in your choice. If you believe there's something I can do that would negate your choice, you negate your own. Nyanandratis and Zakaish nodroan. Kinindritis. What does this have to do with grief? Well, all of the different ways that we hold ourselves in separation from throughout time, in our perception, rips us apart. And we reinforce that ripping, we reinforce that separation, we reinforce those walls that we build in between ourselves and others, in between different parts of ourselves from throughout time, different expressions. That's painful. That's grief. Perceiving loss, kiteyatas, loss of your own will, loss of your life, loss of what we perceive to be life force, but our souls don't need healing. Spirit is perfection. Spirit doesn't need healing. What you're perceiving is different levels that you think are like soul bodies, are just different levels of the ego in different dimensions. Seya sotroa tisam sakiriti a raisio toko ruhinan, himindiri kayas notroa estitio shor, hitrekinam natriti sisit, kinintis it diator koyasam sakinindriti sisietroa oshititrit. And so what people call soul retrieval, I don't believe that that's what's happening. I believe it's reintegrating different parts of your ego that you've allowed to be separate. We make everyone else's ego. The way that I perceive myself from inside of my personality is not the way anybody else perceives me. And so they're making up my ego in their sight, just as I'm making up theirs because I can't see from inside their perception. This is important. This is a very important step or process in reintegration of the self. You have to accept everyone as part of yourself, but it's not your personality, it's something much more. And the mind that chose separation then continued to fracture itself in its awareness of itself into different bodies, into different parts of time, different expressions of time on what we perceive to be a historical timeline. But that's all one life, that's all one mind that made a choice to be separate and then perceive itself in more and more fractured elements or containers of mind that it's withholding itself from. And that's grief, that we experience that as grief because we think we're losing part of ourself. The belief in death. Grief comes from this belief in death, that we could be no more, that when other people's bodies pass from this realm, that we are no longer with them somehow. I don't believe that that's real. I believe that that's a dream, an image of the dream. But we have to sort of let these things surface because we are walking around in these bodies in a shared physical field where these beliefs hold the structure of physicality. This is what the scaffolding of this physical world is in all of these separation beliefs. And so being able to kind of look at them from outside and neutralize them. Again, this idea of this strength that we develop when we go into trance or we go into like really losing your identity in meditation. Losing what you believe your identity to be. That is reunifying with your divine identity, the identity of the truth. And the revelation of the truth that we are one would make grief completely unnecessary. It would make it impossible, and so it is. But this is the way we practice and what we hold, so that while we are continuing to move in physicality where this does exist, it makes it easier. That we can maybe bring remembrance closer to our awareness, so that when things happen that either remind us of grief or trigger what appears to be new grief within us, that we can see with Spirit's eyes. Because if you really want Spirit's vision, you're going to have to give up seeing from your ego, because the two are not compatible. Kinindriya tayanantra isi hisi korrukunatra. Shiti kita wusumsa kinindri kinit, kinindri tisin sorkuisa paish indekinin, hinihanaya sorkuisita, hinindri tisin siki shauru kuisanta isi shauru, hinindri kayas notruana insikiri kainindri kiato korrukuina. Kiri torrukuis natruit. Very beautiful. I think we're going to start to bring this to a close. If you want to go deeper into this work, I really, really recommend the trance meditations that are on my website. There are many on there, and they are organized by categories, but you can also, just Control F or Command F on your computer and just search, what you feel like you need assistance with or strengthening in or clearing of. And there's many healings, because the YouTube videos are a mix of the teaching and the light codes, but the trance meditations are deep immersions to be used in trance, in that intention to directly connect with spirit, so that you can just sort of allow things to be undone and allow that whatever information needs to come through from your unique coding to come through for you. That is not possible to do in YouTube videos such as this. If you want to go deeper into that work, one-on-one sessions are very, very powerful for whatever needs to come through for you in that time. And they are recorded, so you can listen to them. They are yours. You can listen to them as you feel called to come back to them. But I do believe this work is just becoming more and more relevant as we were talking about the scaffolding of physical reality that is dismantling rapidly. The powers that were are certainly trying to reset and bring us into World War III and all of these things, but I don't believe that is going to be successful to make people forget. So if you intend to be on the path of remembering and you really want to empower yourself in a way that is rising above the fray instead of finding yourself sort of wanting to fight it, I really encourage you to reach out, because I think this work could be really powerful for you. So thank you so much. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to do another session on grief. I certainly have a list of things that I want to do in this Making the Unconscious Conscious. If you're interested in perhaps a trance meditation series to go along with these, so it's more directly correlated, please let me know. This work is collaborative, and I am very grateful for everyone who is a part of the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so that you know when they come, when the new videos come. I think you can hype them now if you feel so called to promote the videos. I would really appreciate it. And thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. God bless you.